Okay, this is said to be the best of all Denver suburbs, but is it all it's cracked up to be? Let's go find out together right now. Guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim Cameron, your host for Everything Denver, Colorado, where we explore all things Denver real estate, including the best possible neighborhoods. If you are thinking of a move out to the Denver metro area, make sure you hit me up, call, text, or email. I got people reaching out all the time asking about what are the best places to live in all of Denver, and I love helping them out. So as much as I love making these videos, I love helping you guys on your relocations to the Denver metro area even more. I got your back on all things Denver real estate. So to begin, we are here in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Now you may have heard about this suburb. It's one of the largest master plan communities in the entire United States, but definitely within the entire state of Colorado. This is the suburbs on steroids. So if you are looking for suburban living, Highlands Ranch is going to be exactly what you are thinking of. And a reason it's become so popular among families and other people is for the fact that it just has everything you could possibly want right down the street. Clean, safe neighborhoods. Let's go explore some of those and check out everything Highlands Ranch has to offer. So let's start out with location and accessibility. Where is Highlands Ranch in proximity to Denver? Well, looking here on the map, Highlands Ranch is going to be right about 12 miles south of Denver Metro, right across that southern border of like the C-470 circle that encompasses the Denver Metro area. And so you're probably looking at about a 20 to 30 minute commute to the interior of Denver. If you do work up there and want to commute, there's a lot of job opportunities down here in Highlands Ranch and the Denver Tech Center, which are only probably about 15 minutes away if you do work in the Denver Tech Center. So location is a great draw for a lot of people. That you're outside the city, you really have a perfect suburban feel, but you're not far from everything that Denver has to offer. Now, if you are going to be traveling for work a lot and you need good access to the airport, you are probably about 40 minutes from Denver International Airport. So something I recommend if Highlands Ranch is on your radar, but you do need closer access to the airport, we'll try to find a neighborhood that's closer to that C-470 loop that runs out to the airport. Being closer to that freeway entrance is probably going to save you 10 to 15 minutes versus something that's on kind of the back end of Highlands Ranch. So there is opportunity to get something a little bit closer to the airport if commuting and transportation out to the airport is important to you. Now, as far as public transportation goes, there is RTD bus services that run throughout Highlands Ranch, and really not any light rail stations. You'd have to go up to Littleton or maybe over to Lone Tree to get access to those. But one nice thing about Highlands Ranch is, since this was a large master plan community, they kind of overbuilt the roads to start with. So you have a lot of the main thoroughfares that got 3 lanes going each direction. I know when you get into some of these smaller towns that have exploded with growth and are growing really fast, sometimes the infrastructure and the roads can't keep up with the amount of people that have moved in. And while Highlands Ranch has gotten a lot more crowded, thankfully a lot of those major roads and thoroughfares like Broadway and Wildcat in Quebec and some of the main streets that run through it are wide enough to handle a lot of that extra traffic. Okay, let's talk about some of the housing options here in Highlands Ranch. Now, Highlands Ranch is kind of divided into 4 different segments. You got North Ridge, South Ridge, East Ridge, and West Ridge. Fairly easy to remember. Each of those will have its own HOA. Highlands Ranch as a whole has an HOA for the entire, subdivision, but that does get you access to all the trails and parks throughout Highlands Ranch, as well as 4 rec centers, one for each quadrant of the city. Now, as far as neighborhoods go and home prices, you're going to find a lot of variety in that as well. Median home price right now is right at $750,000. There are options obviously higher and lower than that. If you're looking for something more entry level, there are townhome and condo options starting in that $350,000 to $400,000 range for a smaller condo. Townhomes are generally going to range from $550,000 to $650,000, and then entry level starter homes are going to be right around $550,000 to $600,000. Nothing extravagant, 2-3 bedroom house, 1,200 square feet. But then you're going to have a lot of luxury homes as well, and there are a lot of luxury pockets in Highlands Ranch, including places like Backcountry, where starting median price is going to be right around $1 million and up from there. You also have luxury townhome communities like Tresana. It's going to have more of a Tuscan feel or old world style with the brick and the stone. Very popular for a lot of people looking for something that's a little bit more unique. Because Highlands Ranch is really just a giant subdivision, you're going to find a lot of cookie cutter style homes, but you just need to know where to look if you want something that's a little bit more unique and a little little bit more style and flair than the average subdivision home. So I mentioned there's HOAs throughout all of Highlands Ranch. So something to remember if you're making the move out here. Every neighborhood is going to be a part of some HOA, whether that's the Highlands Ranch General HOA, like I said, that gives you access to those rec centers and all the parks and trails. It's going to be around $150 a quarter, give or take, depending on which year that you decide to make your move out here. Make sure you hit me up for that. And then depending on which neighborhood you're in, you may have a secondary HOA that handles just your specific neighborhood. And this may include, you know, a community pool or other community amenities or the landscaping in a particular neighborhood that may be more than is traditional for the rest of Highlands Ranch. So always good to take a look and figure out how many HOAs you're going to be accountable to, what their rules and regulations are. Most of the HOAs here in the Highlands Ranch area are going to have restrictions on what colors you can paint your house, different things you can do to the exterior of your home, and different color schemes that you can have. By and large, they've been fairly reasonable. I've helped tons of people move out to Highlands Ranch, and they actually do like that the HOA cares enough to keep up the appearance of the neighborhood, which in turn keeps your property values higher. And it's the reason we've seen a lot of appreciation over the last few years, especially in this pocket of the Denver metro area, is because home prices have the appearance of homes and everything has been so well taken care of that it has resulted in home prices increasing more stably. All right, the next thing that has been a huge draw for a lot of people that are moving out here is the schools and school district and school choice. So you're going to be in the Douglas County area, and that will result in you being assigned to the Douglas County School District. And this is one of the highest rated districts in the entire Denver metro area. So a lot of different school choices. You have several different large high schools, along with, of course, middle schools and elementary schools, places like Rock Canyon, Thunder Ridge, Mountain Vista. So you do have a lot of different choices when it comes to the school options. And you also have charter schools around as well, like a STEM school in Highlands Ranch and American Academy, and just a lot of different charter school and private school options. One of the private schools that has become one of the most popular in all of Denver is Valor Christian School. And it is really well known for not only its great academic program, but also its athletics as well. Something else that people absolutely love about living here is the outdoor activities and amenities available to you. You have 70 miles, over 70 miles of trails and open space, whether you're into hiking or biking or running. Got something for everybody, everything from the paved trails to the natural trails. You just got a lot of stuff going on. Not to mention all the parks and recreation. I'm at one of the largest parks here in Highlands Ranch shooting this, and as you can see behind me, there's also an amphitheater. So there's always things happening throughout the year here in Highlands Ranch, whether that's, you know, concerts in the summer. Most of them are free for families to come and join, sit in the lawn, bring your camping chairs out here. There's just a lot of things for families to do in Highlands Ranch. And I forgot to mention, the backcountry open space has over 8,000 acres of open space for mountain biking and hiking. Just so many outdoor things to do to enjoy the over 300 days of sunshine that you're going to find when you come to Colorado. Right now we're in kind of the dead of winter, but we have a beautiful, nice 55-degree day out here. The snow has melted except for the ones on top of the snow-capped Rockies up there. So you have just a lot of beauty around Highlands Ranch. And one of the things people really like about some of the neighborhoods over here is the sweeping mountain views. And while your particular house might not always have a view right out your living room or bedroom window of the Rockies, you travel out and you drive down the street and you just have beautiful views of the entire Front Range. So it's made it a very picturesque, beautiful place to live for a lot of people. Okay, so what are some other things that people love to do, and where do they work, where do they shop in Highlands Ranch? Well, in this area of Highlands Ranch, you're gonna have a lot of suburban style shopping. So all of your big box stores, everything from your Walmarts, Targets, Home Depots, not as many smaller local boutique shops, although there are some of those. You have Town Center that's kind of right in the middle of Highlands Ranch, where you're gonna have national chains, smaller stores, as well as maybe one or two of your little more boutique stores. You're gonna find a lot of chain restaurants here in Highlands Ranch. So if you're looking for something that's completely unique and you have a lot of walkability to, you know, shops, dining, cafes, and things like that, Highlands Ranch is probably not going to fit the bill for that perfectly. We do have some pockets of that in different areas, but most of Highlands Ranch is really going to be car or bike dependent. There are some places you can walk to, but for the most part, you're going to find a lot of chains, a lot of cookie cutter style neighborhoods and homes, and a lot of suburban style living. Not a lot of uniqueness, not a lot of a smaller mom and pop shop. There are a few, but not as many as you'll find in some of the smaller or older towns like Littleton or Arvada. Let's talk about some of the employment opportunities in and around Highlands Ranch. Being that it's so centrally located on this south metro area, you have access to a lot of different jobs, everything from a corporate environment in the Denver Tech Center. There's also some tech companies down here in specifically the Highlands Ranch area. Also a lot of healthcare jobs around here. You have UC Health has a large campus down here in Highlands Ranch, as well as a division of the Children's Hospital. So a lot of doctors and nurses work in this area, as well as a lot of other medical offices. Of course, you do have the retail options available to you if that is business that you're in or a sector that you're in. By and large, a lot of people do commute for most of the job opportunities. You have Lockheed Martin, which is part of the big space program here in Colorado, and a lot of people also work for the federal government. So Highlands Ranch is nice because it's very centrally located on the south metro part of it. If you live in Highlands Ranch, you're going to be the center of everyone who lives kind of in south metro Denver. You have Littleton and Centennial and Inglewood just to the north, as well as, South Denver. To the south, you have Castle Pines, Castle Rock, some smaller places like Roxborough Park and Parker. And, to the east and to the west, you have more of Littleton or more of Centennial and Aurora. So if you have friends that live in the South Denver metro area and you kind of want to be in the center of it all, Highlands Ranch could be the perfect place for that. So what does cost of living look like in the Highlands Ranch area? And while it is a little bit higher than the national average, I mentioned home prices, the median price being about $750 at this time. Now there are a lot of options below that you can get into a single family home for, but median income for this area is also $130 to $150. So while the cost of living is significantly higher than a lot of the country, your wages also are significantly higher than most of the country as well. So kind of a trade-off there, kind of a wash. One thing that Highlands Ranch does have going for it is lower property taxes than a lot of places around, and especially lower property taxes than the new construction that's happening right on the outskirts of Highlands Ranch in places like Sterling Ranch or Littleton. And the reason for that is Highlands Ranch was one of the first places that instituted what we call the Metro District, or a special taxing district. And the way this worked, not to get into all the nitty-gritty details, but the builders ended up passing off the cost of all the infrastructure, like your sewer lines, electricity, putting in the roads to these newer developments, and pass that on in the form of debt to the new homeowners in the form of a 30-year bond. So once that bond is paid off, the tax rate reduced back to a more reasonable level for Colorado. And it's been a long time since Highlands Ranch was built up, since most of it was constructed in the early and mid 90s and early 2000s. So you will find that property taxes are a little bit lower in this area compared to some of the other new construction because those debts have been paid off. If you go just to the west of here to a development like Sterling Ranch, your property taxes may be 2 to 3 times what they would be in Highlands Ranch. So that definitely helps the affordability factor. So Highlands Ranch is a good fit for a lot of people that choose to move out to the Denver metro area. Here's the cons of living in Highlands Ranch. One, you do have a little bit higher price point than some of the other areas. You can get a little bit more for your money if you go further out to a place like Parker or Castle Rock, or if you're looking for a bit newer construction, you can also go to those areas to find something as well. Other cons to this can be a little bit congested at times because so many people are moving here. Now, they've done a good job of keeping the traffic flowing within Highlands Ranch, but if you do have to commute up to Denver, that part going out of Highlands Ranch into Centennial and the other parts of South Metro Denver can be a little bit congested and make for tougher commute times. Another con, you are a little bit further from the airport, so if you need to commute all the time and get out to the airport and you travel a lot for work, that can be a little bit of a challenge too. Again, like I said, let's try to find you something a little bit closer to the freeway so you can mitigate the time that you spend in the car trying to get out to the airport. Okay, I don't know if these goofy outdoor gym things are showing up in towns where you guys live, but they seem to be popping up at a lot of parks lately. They're always empty. I don't know why they spent so much money on these things. What they turn into is expensive jungle gyms for kids. They only got like one weight setting on there. The people who are die-hard workout folks probably aren't going there because they got gym memberships already, or they'll just do push-ups and pull-ups. No need for all these goofy machines. And the only other con I would really throw out there, and this is specific to a person's taste and what they want in a home, is that you're going to find a lot of similar homes, similar structures, similar styles, similar color schemes in a lot of the places around Highlands Ranch. You're not going to find, your 100-year-old Victorian homes or your classic colonial style builds that you might find in more of a historic neighborhood of Denver. If you know the home styles of like Richmond, America, Taylor Morrison, Lennar, D.R. Horton, then you're going to find very similar style across the board throughout most of Highlands Ranch. Now, there are certain pockets where you can find a little bit more uniqueness and style, like the Tuscany feel in Tresana, the luxury feel in backcountry area, or different smaller pockets in and around the Highlands Ranch area. But by and large, you're going to find a lot of the same, a lot of cookie cutter style neighborhoods. But if you're looking for something predictable, cohesive feel to the neighborhood, it's going to fit just right. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this tour of Highlands Ranch. And again, if you're thinking of a move here and Highlands Ranch looks like the perfect spot for you, or if we maybe missed the mark on Highlands Ranch and you're looking for something a little bit more unique, we got tons and tons of neighborhoods and cities, suburbs all around Denver. We can find the perfect place for you. So don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel while you're here. And please hit me up, call, text, or email when you're thinking of your move to Denver. Until next time.